Welcome, everybody. We're here today. I've got a great guest. I've been a follower of his for quite some time now, and he's amazing in every phase that I've known him in. And I'd like to welcome Derrick Black.
Yeah,
there we go. I finally got it through there.
Yeah, no, that was too much of an introduction. I don't deserve any of that. I'm excited to be here. I've heard about the West Texas Slant, and I know what you're about. And honestly, the honor's mine to be able to sit here and be able to record with you today. So I'm going to learn something new today. I'm excited, and I'm sure you guys are going to learn something new today. And it's we'll take it from there. I'm happy to be here.
Well, that's great, and I thank you so much. So, how did you end up in Midland?
Yeah, that's a great question. Originally, I come from El Paso, born and raised. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, absolutely. My family was more of a ranching family. We had a ranch out here in Blanca. My grandfather was a World War II veteran. Came back, settled in El Paso. They got Fort Bliss there, so, the connections for military are very strong. And, he built his house there, raised my parents. As time went on, we came along, right? We were not expected, but we were expected. And so I got the ability to, grow up in El Paso and really learn an urban side, but also cherish the ranching and agricultural side that I grew up in. I always was raised around cattle, horses, livestock, 4-H. It was a real blessing for me to be able to grow up that way. Quite honestly, I miss it dearly. I miss riding horses. I miss rodeoing. It was a very beautiful life, and I was very blessed to be able to be a part of it. Anyway, fast forward, I went through school, went to Western Tech, got my degree in associates, electronics engineering, really excited there, and decided to work for AT&T. And how that connection happened, I don't ask me because I don't remember, but some might say I tripped into it. I don't know. So worked for AT&T for about 12 years, Dusty. That was quite the experience. Grew and climbed the ladder, and got pretty high up there. And there was a point to where AT&T decided, hey, we're going to move you to Midland. I didn't know anything about Midland. I didn't know what to expect out here. I had a lot of feedback saying, "Are you ready for Midland? It's expensive." I go, "No, it can't be that bad. It's a small town folk." The only thing I knew about oil and gas is that it came out of a pump at 7-Eleven. AT&T moved me out here, and within a year and a half, I decided I needed a career change. And guess what that career change was? Oil and gas. And that's what brought me here. To sum it up, I'm here now. I love it. Our kids have gone to Lehigh, Legacy now, and don't get me into that, but
I'm with you on
that. Graduated Lee, and now we're working on our grandkids here. So I believe we're already
grandkids already.
Yeah. That's a whole other conversation. I got plenty. I got 4 here now. Another 3 in El Paso, and 2 more on the way in Arizona. Me and my wife are actually going to head to Arizona next week. My son's expecting twins for the first time. I'm excited about that.
That is exciting.
Yeah, 2 boys. Yeah, little hellraisers. We'll teach them
right. Right. And then maybe they'll move here.
I've had that conversation with my son, and it doesn't seem to pan out too well. He likes it there. His wife's in Arizona. Us as males, we'll always follow our women. Right. Unless I can convince her to move down here, I don't think he's coming down. So, yeah.
I got you. Well, that's usually the way it is when you try to sell Midland, and they really don't know the best part of Midland, but it's got great people.
Yeah, that is the best part of Midland. I honestly, hands down, I think the community is deeply well connected, well established, and we stand up for each other like no other. That, I think, is why a lot of people do what they do. Being in oil and gas, too, the industry just really, it really brings a lot of people to the table that you get to meet from all walks of life. And I'm truly blessed that I have landed here and been able to call this place my home, Dustin. I'll tell you, man, I could fire off a list of names, and there's just too many to go through just because of the values these people bring. So I love it.
So how did your wife feel about moving to Midland?
Yeah, well, she said that don't ever get her to move again, because apparently it was a big jump for her. My wife will follow me to the end of the world. Right. And I love that. Me and my wife are really well connected. We met 15 years ago, and we've been able to build our kingdom, and we follow God, we raise our kids, and I'd like to say that we have a really soundproof and bulletproof home and relationship. She loves Midland. She has found her roots down here. We've made a whole new group of friends. She's in the medical field, so she does that. So, and thank God for it, because I find myself hurt like every other week. So she's bringing out bad days or something to help me out. I'm a big crybaby. You can edit that out. I'm just kidding. but no, she loves it out here. We both been able to blend well.
Well, it's interesting because when I told my wife she didn't really want to come.
Yeah.
Because she looked it up and said, no, it's flat, it's dry, there's no trees. We haven't got a town named No Trees.
That's funny.
And then when we got up here and she got a job, she's been there for 33 years. She's not going anywhere.
It grows on you. Small town life grows on you. And, I thought I was going to have a hard time because you come from these urban cities that have everything. You got a college, El Paso has UTEP, and, we had MSU, Las Cruces, and, Mexico's across the border, and we like to, go down there and have a little fun every now and then. But, for us, I think this is the perfect place to raise a family. We are in the middle of, Midland, right? We're in the middle of San Antonio, Dallas on one side, El Paso on the other. You got Lubbock North, Oklahoma. So, I think we're perfectly placed where if this is too much for you, you needed a vacation, it's easily accessible 4 hours in either direction. But, you got a bowling alley here, you got movie theaters here, you got a Sam's, soon to be Costco. They're building that in like 3 weeks. It came out of nowhere. Tumbleweed that blew in. It's well established already.
So right now, I heard that you're in the process of doing some things to celebrate Easter.
Yeah, Dustin. Easter is a very not sensitive subject, but it's a very delicate one because we know that what Easter is about, it embodies Christ. It embodies the resurrection. It embodies a religious side that a lot of times gets lost in the message. Growing up and celebrating Easter as a child, you don't really value, unless you've been taught, right? You don't value what Easter's about. What you see Easter as is rabbits and eggs and candy and fun, which is great. Kids love that. I loved it. The Easter egg hunts were the favorite part of Easter for me, and I was very competitive. I'll tell you what, I ran out that door finding every egg I can. I left my cousins in the dust, but So what we did, I was able to put together a group called Coffee Connections, and I love that. We started in January, and I'm going to kind of build the momentum to Easter just to give a little context.
Okay.
We started in January, and really what it was we started a networking group on the surface. And, again, working in oil and gas, small town, meeting all the great people here, I was able to build up quite a network of individuals from all walks of life. And I wanted to bring them to the table to network, to collaborate, to market, where everybody is able to gain something from it, right? And I knew my calling had a deeper feel or a deeper meaning that I really wanted to embrace. What we found was that the community, even through everything that we've been blessed with because of being in Midland, we wanted to give back. And that's where Coffee and Connections' true heart and purpose was founded. And that's bringing people together over coffee, connecting, but giving back to the community. And we do that by partnering with nonprofits across the Permian. Now, fast forward to Easter, which is your question. Now we're here at Easter. We didn't have our monthly meeting like we normally would, right? What I did instead is I wanted to create something special, meaningful, and to give back to the community. And that was our Easter basket drive. We were able to build well over 100 baskets. And when I say we purposely, because it wasn't just me.
Right.
My group and our group wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the great people, the volunteers, everybody that came together to make this possible. And I didn't even have to really ask. These individuals showed up ready to go because they saw the purpose and the meaning behind what we were trying to do. We came together at Family Promise. We built well over 100 baskets. We finished Wednesday. We started passing them out yesterday. The responses I've gotten, the testimonials I've heard, it'll bring you tears.
It does, just hearing about it.
I'm glad.
It's amazing. And that's that's what this is all about. When you get down to cutting away all the peripheral business of the day, yep. Easter is what it's all about.
Yesterday we did some stops at Greenwood Independent School District. I was able to, and again, I'm gonna drop off little tidbits here because I am a really big believer and I believe in faith. I showed up, a good friend of mine a couple weeks back says, hey Derrick, what are you doing? I go, yeah, I'm here at the house. He's like, well, this is a good friend of mine, Birdman, Jose Tiaga. Love this guy. Anyway, he calls me. He's at a play shoot. And he's like, hey, we're talking about coffee connections. And I got some folks here that want to meet you or want to hear about it. And I go, instead, I'm on my way. And I forgot what I was doing that morning, but I dropped everything, jumped in my truck, and ran over there. That's how passionate I am about what I'm doing. I got there, and sure enough, Birdman was there, and he introduced me to Rangers Outreach, which is a great organization in Greenwood.
I've not heard of that.
Neither have I until that day. And our Easter basket drive was already being planned and well thought out. And talking with Jessica, she's the director of Rangers Outreach. Talking with her, she gave me a different view of what hardships were like with the kids in Greenwood. I had no idea. A lot of people think Greenwood is ranchy, it's good, it's well off. Well, there's parts in any community where kids are financially burdened or going through things, and their group really isolates it and focuses on those children. So, long story short, we partnered up with them, and I was able to make our first delivery at Greenwood Independent School District yesterday. Counselor texted me back later on that afternoon, and you know what she said?
What?
She's like, Derrick, wow, I got brought to tears. When we walked in that room with those Easter baskets, the kids could barely hold themselves back. They were overwhelmed with joy. This is the kicker, Dusty. This is what got me. Some of the kids kept saying, "Are these baskets ours to keep?" Yeah, I'm getting emotional right now. When I heard that, I couldn't believe I was reading that. That's how impactful what we're doing is making a difference. Not only did we reach these kids, we made something special for them. I think another kid said, I've always wanted Hot Wheels, but my mom could never afford them. Simple things that we take for granted in life. I mean, some of us are arguing over what kind of computer we want, what kind of car we want. These kids want $5, $10 Hot Wheels. And that alone is really where our joy comes from. Making a difference, because this is the next generation of leaders. I say it. Making sure they have hope, they have faith, and they have, meaning to where they're going in life.
It's going to be embedded in the memory banks for sure.
Yeah,
that is just
very
amazing.
Special.
And I get a little choked.
Oh, trust me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's a bit. No, I was choked up all day when I kept reading all the different stories. So it was beautiful.
And I've seen that also, and a lot of people are not aware of it. I mean, we're busy going around making a living, doing good, and PTAs and PTA.
Was that Parent Teacher Association? I remember that. Yeah.
We run through a lot of motions that make us feel good that we're being participatory and helping, but seldom do we get to go boots on the ground and see it face to face like y'all did.
Yeah, absolutely.
To see the joy on a kid brings tenfold the joy back. I mean, you try to give and you go, no, don't appreciate me. I appreciate you for the opportunity to help. And it leaves a full feeling, and it makes people sometimes emotional.
No, I love it. Yeah, it's because we're speaking from our hearts.
Yeah.
This isn't a surface viewed organization. We're definitely rooting with our hearts and moving with our souls. So that's why when you hear the stories and you see them firsthand, they may impact you the way they do. It's very special.
Well, starting out in the oil field, it was not so much of this. It was just everybody crawling for a better living than getting paid. And I'm going to date myself. Minimum wage was $1.29 an hour.
Wow.
I heard somebody say the oil field's paying $3.50 an hour. And I'm going, man, that's tall cotton right there. I'm going to go get some of that. And that's how I got into the oil field. It was to be able to afford finer things and everything else. But throughout the course of the oil industry and ranching, and I've done some of that as well on my uncle's ranch and everything else. It's the best life ever. And then when I finally retired, it's an opportunity to give back, and that's what latched me onto you, because you started much earlier than I did, and I'm reluctant and reticent to not have started sooner.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, ranching is special. I love talking about my past, and I wish my children had the opportunity to grow up. But oil fields, man, I'll tell you, it's brought some of the best blessings in my life. And if you're able to manage those and really build off of them the right way, and stay to your core, your belief, and really follow God's path, you can do so much good. It's not just about ourselves a lot of times. It's about those around us. And that's where inspiration comes in. What can you do to change the world around you? A lot of us are so self-focused and have that one directional perspective. It's important to broaden your peripheral just a tad and see all the people that are really around you. Everybody's fighting a war in their life. And a lot of times they're not willing to share that. But a simple gesture, hey, good job today. You did great, a hug, I'm proud of you. People, and men especially, we're not used to hearing those things. No. But when we hear them, that's like us being our wives receiving a dozen roses on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Great job, Dusty. Great job, Derrick. Like, wow. It resonates with you.
So what's up next on the agenda?
Yeah, so we got a lot of things kind of coming up. May, I'm excited to be working with a really outstanding gentleman. This guy does a lot for his community as well. His name's Louis the host. Him and his brother Roy, they have organized a movement called Mill to Civ. These are veterans in our community. They do their coffee event once a month, and we're teaming up with them today. We're going to highlight our veterans at that event. So we're excited there. And I told you I had a little tidbit for you that I wanted to drop on the show. Yes. This has not been mentioned to nobody yet, and they're going to be the first to hear this. Coffee Connections has made such a great impact in the community. A lot of people are grabbing onto what we believe in. A lot of people want to be a part of it. And we are now expanding to a second city.
Oh, wow.
We are opening up a second chapter, and it's not because this was something that I planned. It just happened naturally. And guess who's going to be leading our chapter president in that city?
I don't know.
This is Mr. Lord Bailey Midkiff himself. He is going to be our second. He's going to take the lead for us up north, and me and him are going to collaborate on a lot of things. And I'm really excited that he is the one taking the lead on this, because I think I couldn't have found a better person.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I had him on a podcast, and we started talking just like today, and I'm thinking, we've been talking like 20 minutes, and it ended up being an hour, because we were so excited about what was going on and everything.
I can see that. And that's the thing about it. When you're passionate about something, you're just going to dive in, and time just is an illusion. You lose it. I seem to run into that quite a bit about the talking, man.
Well, I thank you so much for blessing us and coming over and doing this. And if ever I can reciprocate or help in any way, I would like to formally also say that I'll commit to a lot of the projects that you're going to have in the future.
Yeah, you have already, Dusty, quite a bit. Even having us on the show and giving some big exposure is important. And if I can leave one thing with the crowd, is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah. If you're watching this, I highly recommend you come check out our website. It's coffeeandconnections.com. We have an events page there where we will highlight any and every organization. If you have an event going on, reach out to me. I'll put it on our page. I am all about the community. We work towards everybody benefiting. Come to our next event, May 14th. Again, it's going to be at Midland College. We will be highlighting Mill to Civ, our veterans. We will be having out free coffee, food. The veterans will get a free photo shoot. So if you want to show up with your uniform, it's a free photo. We'll be handing out pins, token coins, and everything. We love our vets, and we want to make sure that they get their cup of tea too. Cup of coffee.
Well, all righty. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it, and y'all have a blessed day, a blessed Easter, and we'll talk to you later.
Happy Easter.